Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on The Flash, Season 5. So one of the biggest issues over the past couple of seasons, that being Seasons 3 and 4, has been the consistency of Iris West's writing. Sometimes it's decent, sometimes it's bad, and then sometimes it is, well, what's worse than bad? That word. But right at the end of Season 4, they started setting up Iris getting back into her blogging and journalism that had basically been, deserted since, Season 2. Even though it sort of cameoed in, the first half, roughly, of Season 3. But as I said, it wasn't consistent. So as soon as they teased her getting back into this and us actually, seeing her start that blog up again, I think most people actually got excited that watched the show, even if you dislike Iris. And that is due to the fact that she would actually finally, have a storyline. One of the biggest issues with most of the female characters in the Arrowverse is that they are written quite poorly. And sometimes that can come down to them, being sort of one-dimensional, which can make it hard for the writers to do anything decent or interesting with them. I understand that. But Iris, she's a reporter, and she's got some interesting characteristics to her. You can do interesting stuff with that if you use her correctly, and, well, yeah, they haven't been using her correctly. And it is important to remember that Candice Patton is a pretty good actress from what we've seen in The Flash. She wasn't in stuff beforehand for the most part, but on The Flash, I think she's presented herself to be pretty good. But unfortunately, she's just not given the material to really display that to the next level, if that makes sense. The way Iris needs to be used is similar to how we saw her used in Season 1 mainly, and that is how she is, our eyes and perspective into Central City. It is through her that we get to see what the public thinks of the Flash, what their reactions to the various criminals and villains and all of that are. But yeah, we haven't got that at all of late. All we have gotten is Iris being smarter than scientists in the field of science. And then we have those Where the Flash moments. But going into Season 5 of The Flash, it does look like they are doing as much as they can to fix, certain characters on the show. Not just Iris, others as well. But the main topic of this video is Iris and her story. Now going into Season 5, we have heard multiple reports about how Iris would be going back into journalism and all of that from various cast and crew members. But we haven't heard any specific details, and we have sort of just been led to, well, assume what's, going to happen. But thanks to TV Line, we now have some proper information as to what is going on with the character of Iris West in Season 5 in regards to her journalism and also the future seasons of The Flash in that field that also connects to some stuff that we've already seen in past seasons. So someone asked TV Line about the Central City Citizen, which is a tongue twister, and its development, and this was the response, from the showrunner of The Flash, that being Todd Helbing. While the paper hasn't officially been named yet, Iris is going to do more journalism in Season 5 than we've seen in quite a while, which is fun, to get Iris out on the streets again. The whole idea is that we want to slowly build her blog into the Citizen, and she's running the paper that we've seen since day one. So for those that don't know and haven't connected the dots from the title, the Central City Citizen, once again that goddamn tongue twister, is the newspaper that features the article from 2024 about the Flash vanishing in Crisis. That wasn't Central City Picture News, so at some point we just guessed that the Citizen would be created and take over. We were just left to wonder when that would, exactly would be and who would be involved, who created it. But obviously this confirms that over Season 5, we will either see her blog turn into the Central City Citizen, or we will just see the early, toddler steps of that happening, and then in a future season, we could see that officially happen. One thing that is important to note is that in Episode 4, we know that Central City Picture News, so the already existing newspaper, supposedly goes up in flames, or at least is near somewhere that goes up in flames. So possibly that, their office is destroyed and they can't afford to rebuild or something. It would make sense if they did that because, the newspaper industry isn't the strongest one at the moment because of all the technology and stuff like that. And that could be the gateway for Iris to grow her blog and then transform that into the Citizen at a pretty quick rate. Obviously, that is just pure theorizing on my behalf. It's a cheat using that, but it also makes sense. So they could, burn down Central City Picture News and then make it a bit easier for Iris to develop her blog and turn it into the Citizen. But if we do see the Central City Citizen start to build up and get moving forward fairly quickly, this could open the door for the return of, the character of Linda Park, who left Central City for a suitable reason back in Season 2 due to, Zoom targeting her and almost killing her. But did they ever explain why she never came back? Was she still scared of Zoom even after he was, gone? If they did, fair enough, but that has always been or seemed weird to me. But yeah, she could come back and be a part of the Citizen with Iris. because it'd be pretty hard for Iris to build it up herself. But we also have that new character of Spencer Young, who will be the character known as Spin from the comics, who is a villain, but we don't know how she's going to be used on the show. And she will be a social media influencer, and she could possibly be a rival to Iris in regards to her blogging by taking advantage of Nora Allen's arrival in Central City. So do keep your eyes out for that potential conflict starting in episode 4. But currently they are filming episode 5 for this season, which is otherwise entitled All Dolled Up, and will feature the live action debut of Ragman, which I'm sure will be, quite creepy, seeing what that dude can do. But Candice Patton, who plays Iris West, and Grant Gustin, who plays Barry Allen, were, well, all dolled up for the filming of a scene overnight, as you can see here, with Iris in a red dress and Barry in a suit and bow tie. Seeing that Barry is in a cummerbund, you would have to think that this is something fancy, because the only time I ever worn a cummerbund has been to like a few over-the-top fancy dinners where the food was subpar, and I think a quarter pounder and a Coke would have been a better meal. Anyway, so who knows what fancy shindig these two are going to, and I'm sure others on Team Flash, or at least other people on the show that we are familiar with, would have gone to as well. If I had to guess, maybe something to do with the Central City Police Department, like this is looking like what Barry would wear to a police department, like ball or something like that. That's what I would guess at least, but who knows what it will end up being. But one thing is for sure, it does seem like they're trying to show us more of the characters out and about, outside of Star Labs, in their personal lives and out of their superhero personas, which I think is great. So we've seen stuff like the baseball game from episode 4 as well. I think that might be from as well. Season 1 and 2 were obviously the peak of that sort of style, where we saw them outside of their, Star Labs life. So we saw like Barry and Caitlin do karaoke and different things like that. But then in seasons 3 and 4, that sort of dropped off. And if they did do stuff outside of Star Labs, it was mainly for like weird tying in random plot reasons. It wasn't just for the sake of like seeing these characters, hang loose and stuff like that. It was mainly to drive other, minor plot points, which, I guess made sense, but just they didn't serve a purpose like they did in season 1 and 2, and like we are potentially seeing in season 5. And the last thing I wanted to go over was another deleted scene from season 4, and this one actually has me baffled as to why it was deleted, and we'll talk about that after we watch it, so I will play that right now.
Ralph not blackmailing the mayor and helping to save Joe doesn't really sound like something a villain would do.
Yeah, you're right.
Better. So what are you gonna do about Ralph, Tiffany?
Now, the reason I'm confused why it was deleted is because, well, firstly, this was a great interaction between Caitlin and Barry, which there were almost like none of in season 4, so extremely weird that they would delete this when they are meant to be pretty close friends. And then secondly, this is a great moment for Barry and just him changing his outlook on things. Changing his perspective on the bus metahumans by changing the label and title from villains over to victims. They didn't sign up to be hit by that dark matter. It was a freak accident. Barry's technically the one that created them, so yeah, he has a part to play in it. So Barry's part in this scene is great. I know there was a scene similar to this one with Barry and Joe, but mate, seriously, I can think of episodes where they literally have like the same scene essentially 3 times in that one episode. So the fact that this one got cut has me baffled. Like, they do cut some weird stuff from some episodes and some seasons. I remember when they cut like a really cool Black Siren Zoom scene from season 2, and I have no idea why they did that. It was like another interaction between them that we didn't get to see, and it just explained a few other things. I just found it weird that they would delete it. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on the different topics we went over in this video. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.